This video is absolutely going to change your social life. You are going to no longer be struggling, be awkward around other people. If you follow these 4 things, you will be able to have people craving to be around you. And I mean that, 100%. You will have people who genuinely actually like you, and you will not only attract good friends into your life, but you actually will be able to attract a woman as well. Because these 4 things can massively attract your chances of actually finding somebody in this big dome that we all live in. You're sick of life, aren't you? You have shitty friends who all go out drinking, they all smoke weed, they all go out every single weekend, they only care about the Saturdays, and they live the same lifestyle over and over and over and over again, and you are absolutely sick of it. And it's why you've started watching people like me and other self-improving YouTubers. It's because you are sick of the bullshit. You are sick of the life that you're living, and you're sick of the people in your life. But you want to attract those people that you maybe have seen before, that other people have, or you have an idea of the type of person you want in your life. So follow these 4 tips and these 4 strategies, and you will be absolutely flying, bro, in life when it comes to social situations and attracting friends. The first one is being funny or having a good sense of humor. Now, this is something that is actually very difficult. You can actually be very naturally good at this, or you can improve on this. So there's some people who are just naturally have a better sense of humor than others, and some others just don't really have a good sense of humor, but they can improve on it, if that makes sense. I'm going to give you a very short but very powerful tip that in social situations, if you don't normally do this is very risky and it's very nerve-wracking to do, but if you really adopt this mindset when going into conversations with your friends or just other people, if you adopt this mindset, which I'm going to tell you right now, this will massively help you out. If you want to become somebody who is generally more of a funnier person and make people laugh, the number one thing is you need to stop trying to make people laugh. Because the minute you have it in your head that you want to try and make people laugh, or you want to have a good sense of humor or whatever, the minute you start trying to do it, you fail. You sort of become more unfunny than actual funny. If you're somebody who actually wants to become very good at making people laugh, have the mindset of saying things that genuinely will make you laugh. So if you're in a conversation with somebody and there's something funny in that you think in your head, say it. Because if it makes you laugh, then there's a higher chance it's going to make people around you laugh. Because if you have friends, you're mainly attracted to people who have the same interests and pretty much are the same people as you at the minute, bro. So if you generally are in conversations with people and you're not really that much of a funny guy, but there's been loads of times when you've had like funny things to say, but you've never really said them because you thought they'd be a bit weird or something, say them. Because if you find them funny, you will get a genuine good laugh out of some people. A very high chance of that happening. There's nothing better in this world socially, bro, whenever you are talking in a group of people and you say one thing and you get the whole crowd of people laughing. I've done that before, and it genuinely is such a dopamine rush. But the reason that I do this is because, like I said, it's just something I've sort of naturally picked up myself. Again, there's probably millions of different other tips out there, but the one tip I can generally give you that has worked for me the most is just talk about things and say things that you genuinely find funny. Like if there's memes that you find funny, don't be that friend who just constantly sends people memes. Don't be that friend who constantly shows people other clips or talks about other clips that are funny, because they're not funny. Because if you can make people laugh, bro, people just want to be around you because they'll see you as the guy that is actually very funny and hilarious. And it's just an addiction. People just can't get enough of you. People want to hang around with you, and you'll just have people just really just gravitate to you very, very, very quickly. Comedy is a form of like dopamine that people get off somebody because it's so rare. If they find somebody who's like naturally funny and just hilarious, believe me, bro, your life can just change like that if you're just a little bit more laid back and just don't give a fuck. Be a little bit more unfiltered and be a little bit more unfazed whenever you say things that generally make you laugh. If you have dark humor, then start saying dark jokes, and don't be unapologetic whenever you do say them. The next thing is having a good posture. Now, I know this does seem a bit weird. The way you conduct yourself and the way you walk in terms of your body language can give off a very false sense of reality. And I mean this in a good way, I don't mean this in a bad way. If you're a loser, for example, and you're broke, you've got no money and you're a bum, and you've done nothing with your life, but you have a very, very, very good posture, people are going to think that you're a higher status man than you actually are, if you know what I'm trying to say. So having a really, really, really good posture is something that can project immediately some good first impressions to people that you want to attract into your life. And I'm going to give you one really good strategy to use if you want to have good posture. Don't stop listening to Teaching Men's Fashion and Alpha M, who give you all this crap advice. I'm going to give you one really good piece of advice that will help you if you just do this for the rest of your life, and you will maintain a good posture. I can't move the camera right now, but I'm going to show you. So stand up against the wall, right flat up against the wall, and hold everything back. Go, like, stand as flat as you can. Picture there's like a wall behind me right now, and I'm standing right up against it, flat as possible, and just hold it like that. Hold it as much as you can. Okay, and once you do about a good few, maybe do this for about a minute, and then rest, and then do it again, and do about 3 sets of that. Just do about 3 sets of that every single morning. And the reason why I'm telling you to do this is because you will do it so much where you'll get to a stage, any position that you are, sitting down or standing up, where you feel yourself sort of getting that round shoulder look and, you know, having bad posture and a hunched back, you will automatically click into your head where, you know, because you're doing the exercises all the time every morning, that you'll just push yourself back into a normal posture. And if you keep training your brain to do that over and over and over again, your posture will just naturally get back into its perfect form. Every single morning, bro, plant yourself up against your wall for just 3 minutes it takes, right? Once a minute each for 3 sets. Push yourself up against it, head touching the wall, completely flat back, and just completely press yourself up against your wall for a minute, rest for 30 seconds, and then do another minute, and do that for 3 sets. You can progressively overload it. Like I said, you can do 5 sets, 6 sets, 7 sets. You can wait it longer for a minute. You can instead go for 5 minutes. The more the better, pretty much. Until pretty much, like I said, you naturally start going back into having really good posture. The third thing is, and this is a very crucial one. This comes from a book that I've read called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And this is a very crucial tip, and it's to get people to like you whenever you're talking to them. Never complain. I see this so much around me, and I've even done it myself so many times, where you're talking to friends and you're just complaining about something that's going on in your life. Bro, people don't care. And it's something that like, again, just think of somebody that you're friends with just constantly complaining to you about stuff that you don't really give a crap about. It just makes them such an unlikable person. You just don't want to go near them, and you don't want to be friends with them. You don't want to talk to them, because you just know that they're just always going to start yapping and yapping and yapping. Do you ever get that one friend all the time just yapping? Or it could be you. Just, if you find yourself in a situation where you're riled up or you're pissed off, see, this is where meditation comes into play. If you're somebody who meditates, you don't get riled up, you don't get pissed off, because, like I said, you can control your emotions. So, and that's one thing meditation is very good for. That's just a side thing, by the way. Whenever you're talking to your friends or a group of people, stop complaining about your life problems, bro. I know that may hurt your feelings, but nobody cares. And generally, nobody gives a shit. The only person who cares more about your life problems is you. Nobody gives a damn. So you stop complaining to other people about your life problems, about the world. The fourth thing is actually one of the most difficult things, because this is something that you sort of have to, this will take you a few years. If you're somebody who's just only starting to get on self-improvement, and you're only starting to get out there in the world and actually really start becoming your own man and creating the sort of character that you want to be, this is something you might want to leave to the end of, like, you know, in the next few years of your life. Having interesting stories to tell. Guys, one of the most interesting things I find about people, some of the most interesting people in my life that I really like and respect, they just never shut up. They always have some amazing stories to tell, and some of them aren't really amazing stories. They're just like, it's you know, they've either traveled to some part of the world, or something happened to them in this part of the world, and it genuinely is interesting whenever you hear people who have done a lot in life and experienced a lot in life, and you hear them talking about their stories and experiences that are genuinely interesting. So if you're a young man and you want to basically be a very charismatic man, having stories to tell and basically where you can relate to other people who are going through problems and issues, and if you can relate that with a story, man, you are next level when it comes to social skills. Because if you're able to get to the stage, bro, where you can conduct multiple people and have them listen to you and tell a story that is genuinely fascinating, and it could be something very small and short, and these things can really benefit you massively in situations with people, and it can get people to like you a lot more. So how do you get more stories to tell in life? Well, it's simple, isn't it? Experience more of life. Now, like I said, this is something that I don't really would expect you to have now, unless you are somebody who has actually experienced a lot in life already. Maybe you've traveled a decent bit or whatever. Great. If you have stories to tell, brilliant. Tell them. Picture a load of men around a campfire, and you're just telling stories about your life, and like, again, people love to hear this sort of stuff because we're all different. Someone has a story that's completely wacky and wild and different from another person's. Like, that just, I don't know what it is about us. We just love hearing stories from people about genuinely interesting things that they've experienced in life, and it's something I know myself, I personally absolutely would love to hear. I just love hearing it from people. I can't get enough. And you know somebody's a very charismatic person whenever you can remember the stories that those people have told to you, because they've spoken in a way which is just so powerful, because there's always a lesson that they've learned on the end of that story. And if you're that type of man where you can go out into the world and experience something that you can go back and tell friends and family about, automatically people just fucking respect you, and then they gravitate towards you so much more. And if you can get people to relate to you, you can get people to open up to you. And if you can get people to open up to you, then you get people to like you, because it's just a constant pattern. If you're somebody who's charismatic, meaning you're funny, you don't complain, you don't yap, you don't whine, you're an interesting person, you have stories to tell, just think of the type of person you can be in social situations. It's near impossible to get people to dislike you through this. And this is where, like I said, when it comes to girls, this is something that can absolutely skyrocket your results with women. If you're going out dating girls, and if you've got your foot through the door and you've got a date with a girl, or you're seeing a girl, or you're whatever, meeting up with one, and you start whipping out stories and you're being funny, or if you can tell them funny stories that you've experienced, this is stuff that your father should have told you about. It's stuff that your older brother should have told you about, and it's stuff that just genuine, more masculine, older people in your life should have told you. But sadly enough, in this society, we don't have that anymore, and this is something that we're trying to reclaim back. So if this is something that you really love, and this is information that really is helpful to you, subscribe down below. I have a Discord as well I've just created. It's in its early stages, so bear with me. But like I said, if you can be respectful, join the Discord and have a good time in there, all is good. Don't waste your time looking back. We're not going that way, bro.